Evening, YouTube. I've had the pleasure of dealing with my first real troll, and it led me to think about some things. I've been reading up on how to block trolls and this, that, and the other, and how, well, you could block the username and they can go off and they can create another username and come in with a different account. I just thought of something. Years ago, when I played Quake, Quake 2, Quake 3. Actually, I think it was Quake 3 where they implemented it. They implemented a little piece of software with their game program called Punkbuster. Now, what Punkbuster did was to participate in the gaming community that was enabled with Punkbuster rather than the ones that weren't. You turn Punkbuster on, it generates a GUID based on key components installed in your computer or certain aspects of your motherboard. It would generate a big GUID serial number. Now, the result of this is, if you got banned off of Punkbuster, your GUID was blacklisted. And that doesn't just mean Quake. That means you're banned off of anything that uses Punkbuster. That uses that GUID. So why not have that? Let's say, what if we had a common system similar? We could call it Trollbuster. Just a little Java applet or a little exe file that gets put on your computer. It looks at certain pieces of your motherboard and creates a long serial number based on their values and based on your username. Things that are uniquely identifiable, such as integrated network card MAC address, processor serial number, and any host of other things that are hardwired into your computer. Therefore, any group of bulletin board services or forums or video sites or whatever, or social media sites that use that client to verify who you are, and it doesn't have to uniquely identify who you are, like your name and address and all this. It just uniquely identifies who you are as a user. And it goes no further than that. I mean, only the electronics know, and only the admins know when they have to arbitrate. But what it would do is, if you were blacklisted, if your GUID, which was automatically generated, and they do this with Microsoft Windows all the time. When you install a copy of Windows on your computer, it gets a unique ID based on your computer hardware. And that keeps it from being pirated. That license key can no longer be copied to any other one, depending on how they do it. And I know there's ways to spoof around that, but it's very difficult for the casual user. I guarantee that if you used a system that had a GUID-based system similar to what Microsoft Windows used, or Punkbuster, or even Steam uses a GUID. You get banned on Steam, you're pretty well screwed. So why not? I could see thousands of forums going over to that system overnight, and the overhead of managing all that troll activity would be reduced by anywhere from 60 to 80%, if not more. Because if you design the package with obfuscated code, or code that you don't make available to the public, or maybe the routines for generating the GUIDs are not disclosed, and maybe they are encrypted in the program, if you don't know where to look for it, it's very difficult to circumvent it. Use some super high-grade encryption for the GUID so people can't see it in the clear and spoof it. They'd have to first decrypt it. You could do like 256-bit encryption. Something, they could eventually crack it, but it'd take them a heck of a long time. And let me tell you, you ban trolls based on the computers they're using, it gets expensive to keep getting a different computer over and over and over again just to get yourself a new GUID. pretty soon it'll start costing them, and this problem will tend to decelerate. I don't think it'll go away entirely. I don't think it's a foolproof solution, but for the vast majority of them that are mostly retards out with an antisocial problem, this would eliminate them. I mean, what are they going to do? Go buy another laptop if they want to troll again, and then when that one gets blocked, that's $300 a pop at the minimum, Or you want to buy another tablet, that's $150 a pop, somewhere in that neighborhood. A good one, about $150 or more. But you get my meaning. You start making it where their hardware can't talk by using a client that generates a unique GUID for every piece of hardware they use, and pretty soon they're going to have a pile of obsolete, unusable machines, What are they going to do with them? And you don't have to make it permanent. You could have it where, let's say a computer is blocked, an admin can look at what caused the block, and if it's a legitimate troll, well, that hardware is not ever revalidated. Or you could set it up where, excuse me, I just ate something very, very, very hot. So anyway, it's still burning my throat. You could set it where that computer revalidates after about a year, So to the point that the computer is so obsolete at that point that all it can be used for is basically surfing, But you catch my meaning. I mean, you can't really do it with MAC address blocking because the only thing you're going to see on the server side is the MAC address of the last hop point, whatever the last router point was or whatever. And you can't do it. You can't block them with an IP address because IP addresses are dynamic in almost all cases with these people. So your only other option is to have a small client or Java applet that installs itself and generates a GUID from the internal hardware of their computer. It doesn't know you so much for your username as it knows you for the computer you're using, or maybe both. And if you get on another computer with the same username, you have to have that client running there, and that GUID is registered. And the first time you do anything with that one, it gets disabled. And you don't have to sit there as an administrator and manually block these people, and your users don't have to manually block. All they got to do is file an abuse ticket. And then it's evaluated, and based upon that evaluation, the troll is blocked. His computer is blocked. And if his computer is behind a router, well, his router is blocked. Could be used as part of the GUID generating process, if there is a router. But just a small piece of software with just enough code to enumerate those resources and be able to make a unique identifier that's repeatable. That's at least my thought on it, Punkbuster worked pretty good for that. There's a lot of video game video game titles that used Punkbuster. And when you got kicked on Punkbuster, that was it. You couldn't use it no more. You couldn't get on. You could get on with other servers that weren't using Punkbuster, and it was used primarily to stop cheating. People using aim bots and all sorts of other things that were ruining the games for legitimate players. But why not apply it to trolls? They've got a proven technology that works. I'm sure it can be hacked, but you really got to know your business to hack it. The average casual user would not be able to. So take something like Punkbuster and make a Trollbuster client. To access our forums or to access our video site, you must have this piece of software installed, or you must agree to download and install this applet. And let's say you make it a Java applet. Every time they go to the site, the applet is installed, and it automatically generates a new GUID based on username and computer hardware. You don't have to have it sitting in their computer permanently. When you leave the site, the Java applet closes, and no harm, no foul. But when they come back to the site, it reinstalls, regenerates the GUID, and there you go. And what you'll find is, especially if they use multiple computers and multiple accounts, the thing will start generating a profile. And pretty soon you know which computers to block all the time, regardless of their ISP. You know, you're going to get that unique GUID off the computer. In fact, don't base it on username. Base it on the GUID only, the hardware of the computer. That way they could come in as Tom, Dick, or Harry, John, Joe, Schmidt, who knows. But when that GUID pops up, they ain't going nowhere. But just some thoughts, you know. That's just one way. That's one way I was just thinking about sitting here. I don't know if what YouTube did is a step forward or a step backwards. I still don't know how it's going to prevent certain things, but they've made it now where the reason they made it where your videos and your comments and all, your account is linked to Google Plus. I guess they think that that might be a way to get a handle on it. And they've also limited the number of accounts that you can make to 2, I think. Google Plus and some other. You can have like 2 YouTube accounts, and that's it. You know, that's what I was told. I'm not saying that that's the case, but yeah, the GUID solves a lot of problems. I would say it solves maybe 60 to 85% of the troll problems. You know, have a Java client that downloads and installs and generates a serial number. If you're using the same computer hardware, it's going to generate the same serial number every time, regardless of what username you use. You know, regardless of what IP address you have. You know, and there are uniquely identifiable things in each computer. Otherwise, the Windows licensing scheme would not work. So, you know, do something like WGA. You know, it's been an annoyance of bootleggers for quite a long time. You know, even the validation process without WGA, the licensing process, the product key, and hardware identifier that Windows has used for years, still is a pain in the butt for a lot of people. You know, try installing a copy of Windows 7 on 2 different computers and see if you can do it if it's a single-use license. So, you know, why not? Well, that's my 2 cents. I've been on this soapbox long enough, but that's just my thoughts on it. There has to be a simple, effective way of dealing with this, you know. If you get too complex, you get needlessly complex. There's almost, with all of these major problems, there's usually a very simple solution. A very simple solution that solves the problem. You know, so don't get needlessly complex. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS. Take care.